The story begins near a small fishing island. A group of fishermen are out on their boat early in the morning, but suddenly deep under the water, we see something strange, a sea monster. It's sneaking around quietly, stealing items from the fishermen's boat, but when the fishermen notice it, they panic. They try to attack the creature, but it quickly escapes back into the ocean. Down below the surface, we see an entire world of sea monsters, living their lives just like humans, farming, working, raising fish, and among them is a young boy named Luca, whose daily job is to take care of his fish like a shepherd. While watching over them, Luca finds a human alarm clock on the seabed. He knows he's not supposed to touch anything from the human world. His people believe humans are dangerous enemies, but curiosity takes over. Luca picks the clock up anyway, and he loves it. He keeps finding more human objects, and he's fascinated by them. But suddenly, a boat appears above. Luca panics, hides under a rock with his fish, terrified. He dreams of the world outside, but fear always holds him back. Later, when Luca goes home, he hides the human objects. His grandmother tells him stories about going to the surface world many times, but his mother stops her. She never wants Luca anywhere near the humans. Still, Luca can't stop thinking about the surface, so he returns and gathers more human items, until suddenly, a diver comes up behind him. Luca freezes in fear, but when the diver removes his helmet, he's a sea monster too. His name is Alberto, the same one who stole from the fishermen last night. Alberto grabs his things, and Luca's wooden stick too, so Luca follows him, and Alberto pulls him out of the water. The moment Luca touches the air, his body transforms into that of a human. Luca freaks out, but Alberto laughs, tells him to breathe and relax, and then, for the first time ever, Luca sees the real world, the sky, the cliffs, the sunlight. He's amazed, but scared. He runs back home. All night he thinks about it, the world above. The next day, he sneaks out again, leaves a fake rock statue to guard the fish, and tries to get out of the water once more. He hesitates, but Alberto returns and pulls him onto the land again. Luca transforms, and slowly, with Alberto's help, he learns to walk on two legs like a human. Alberto takes Luca to his hidden home on the island. Luca is shocked. A sea monster, living on land. Alberto explains that he stays here with his dad, though he's rarely around, so Alberto does whatever he wants. Luca asks if it's safe up here. Alberto grins and says, "The land is amazing. Fresh air, gravity, sunshine, everything." Inside Alberto's home, Luca sees a picture of a Vespa scooter. Alberto proudly tells him it's the best thing humans ever made, a machine that can take you anywhere. Luca becomes obsessed with the idea. He dreams of riding a Vespa around the world. Alberto has tons of spare parts, so Luca suggests they build one, and they do. Two dreamers building their first Vespa together. By evening, Luca heads home, promising, "I'll come back tomorrow for sure." When he returns, his mom is furious, until his grandmother steps in and lies, saying she sent him out to pick mushrooms. The next morning, Luca wakes up smiling, excited for another day on land. He rushes back to Alberto, and together they begin testing their homemade Vespa. They build a small track, and Alberto goes first, but halfway down the path, the Vespa falls apart, launching Alberto straight into the water. He pops up laughing, loving every second of it, and just like that, the two boys begin rebuilding again. Day by day, they grow closer, playing, laughing, dreaming big. Meanwhile, back home, Luca's mom grows suspicious. When she checks his pasture, she doesn't find Luca, only a rock statue and human objects hidden nearby. She realizes Luca has been going to the surface every single day. Back with Alberto, the boys finish another Vespa attempt. They prepare for a bigger ride. This time Luca hesitates, scared to climb on. Alberto looks at him and says, "You've got fear inside you, and it's stopping you from living. Don't let fear win, ever." Inspired, Luca climbs on. They launch themselves into the sky, laughing, screaming in joy, before crashing into the ocean again. But this time, they're thrilled. Later that night, the two friends sit under the stars. Luca points at the sky and asks, "What are those little lights?" Alberto confidently explains they're tiny fish, watched over by one giant fish in the sky. Luca doesn't know if it's true, but he smiles, because without Alberto, he'd never see any of this. Then Luca asks if Alberto has ever been inside a human town. Alberto admits he hasn't, but his father told him everything about it. Luca imagines a real Vespa, flying through the world together, their first dream of freedom. But when Luca returns home late, everything falls apart. His parents are furious. His father demands a promise, never go to the surface again. Luca insists the outside isn't dangerous, but his mother won't listen. Instead, she calls his uncle Ugo, a deep-sea relative who lives in the darkest part of the ocean, a place where no sunlight ever reaches. She tells Luca he'll live with Uncle Ugo for a month to keep him safe underwater, far away from humans. Luca refuses, desperate and angry, then runs away. He finds Alberto, explains everything. Alberto smiles and says, "Then let's go somewhere your parents can't find us. Let's go to the human town." Luca panics. Humans hunt sea monsters, but Alberto promises one thing. There will be real Vespas there. We just have to get one. That's all Luca needs to hear. They swim until they reach a seaside village named Portoroso, singing and laughing as they push toward their dream. To avoid being seen as sea monsters, they hide under a boat and crawl onto the docks, transforming into human boys once again. For the first time ever, Luca sees a real town, colorful houses, markets, humans everywhere. But then he freezes. Portoroso is known for hunting sea monsters. Luca tries to pull Alberto back, too late. A flashy boy named Ercole arrives on a gleaming Vespa, flexing like he owns the whole town. Luca asks where he got such a beauty, and Ercole proudly replies, "Name's Ercole, 5-time Portoroso Cup champion. This Vespa? I won it." Then he starts bullying the boys, shoving Luca toward the water, almost exposing who they really are. But suddenly a girl rushes in, Julia. She steps between them, furious at Ercole. She hates bullies, and especially this one. Ercole mocks her, calling her underdog Julia, the girl who never beat him in a race. Julia leads Luca and Alberto away from Ercole and asks, "So what are you two doing here?" But neither boy answers, so she shrugs it off and starts selling fish at the market, because that's how she trains for the Portoroso Cup. Luca nudges Alberto and whispers that they should ask her about the race, since Ercole got his Vespa by winning it. So they walk up to Julia and ask, "If we win that race, do we get a Vespa?" Julia explains, "Not exactly. You win prize money, enough to buy a used one." The boys stare at an old Vespa sitting nearby, imagining adventures, freedom, and the road beneath their wheels. They immediately tell Julia they want to race. She laughs and warns them, "This isn't a normal race. You have to swim, eat an entire plate of pasta, and then bike up and down Portoroso Hill." As she walks away, Luca and Alberto yell out, "What if the three of us team up?" Julia pauses. She'll agree only if they prove what they can do. Luca tries riding a bike for the first time, but keeps crashing. He falls again and again, but finally, he wobbles forward. He's shaky, but moving. Julia then asks Alberto where they're from. He casually replies that they ran away. She hesitates. If they're hiding something, she can't race with them. So Luca blurts out the truth. "My parents were going to send me somewhere awful, but if we win, we can be free." Julia softens and agrees. Their disaster squad becomes a team, but there's one problem. Julia still needs money for the entry fee, so she takes them home to meet her father, Massimo, a big, intimidating fisherman with walls full of harpoons and knives. Luca and Alberto freeze, terrified. Massimo proudly says he dreams of catching a sea monster one day. He's sure they're real. They sit for dinner, eating warm pasta, and the boys love it. When Massimo asks where they're from, Julia lies quickly. They're classmates. They came here to race. Massimo tells her he can't afford race fees, not unless they catch more fish. Luca realizes he can help. He and Alberto know exactly where the fish are, so the next day they join Massimo out at sea. At first there's nothing, empty nets, silent water, but the boys guide him to the right spot, and they haul in a mountain of fish. Massimo is impressed and hands Julia the money for the race. Their entry is finally official, but meanwhile, Luca's parents arrive in Portoroso, searching for him, and the second they step out of water, they transform into humans too, confused, shocked, and terrified of their own skin, until they realize what happened. They disguise themselves in human clothing and begin hunting for Luca. Back in the treehouse, Luca wakes up to rainfall and sees his and Alberto's scales returning. Panic. If anyone sees them, everything is over. They dry off quickly, returning to human form, just in time. Massimo arrives and tells them, "If you want money again, you'll join me fishing." The boys accept and help him catch even more fish, earning full trust and the race fee they needed. Now the trio walks to the registration stand. Rules are announced. Swim across the stormy ocean, eat a massive bowl of pasta, bike to the top of Portoroso Hill, and back. Only then, you win. Only then, the Vespa dream is possible. Ercole eventually returns and starts mocking Julia again. He even snatches her entry money, laughing as if he owns the whole town. But then Luca fires back with a line that shocks everyone. "You're a catfish with 2 little mustache whiskers." The whole crowd bursts into laughter. Ercole turns red with rage, embarrassed in front of everyone. He throws the money back at Luca and growls, "Fine, but in the race, I'm going to destroy you." He storms off, and finally the trio registers for the Portoroso Cup. From that day on, training begins. Alberto practices the pasta eating challenge, but the rules say no hands, only forks, and that alone feels like war to him. Luca trains on the bike, but he's terrified of the downhill slope. Every drop ends in a crash and a mouthful of dirt. Julia trains for swimming, but Ercole shows up again, trying to bully them. He pushes Alberto into the water, but Julia distracts him, giving Luca just enough time to pull Alberto out and dry him fast. They escape before Ercole notices anything strange. Meanwhile, Luca's parents arrive in town, shoving random kids into fountains, trying to expose which one is their sea monster son. One night, Luca tells Alberto he thinks his parents are here, but Alberto brushes it off. "You're imagining things. They'd never come here." Just then, Massimo walks in and takes Alberto along for fishing work, an offer the boy can't refuse. Luca stays back and talks with Julia. She asks, "Why do you want a Vespa so badly?" Luca smiles, "So Alberto and I can ride across the world." Julia opens up too. She explains she lives in Genova for school and only spends summers here, where everyone treats her like an outsider. Winning this race is her chance to shut Ercole down for good. Later, she takes Luca up to her telescope, showing him the stars, not fish in the sky, but giant burning suns with planets dancing around them. She shows him Saturn, and suddenly Luca dreams of space, knowledge, school, a whole new life. His heart is changing. Alberto arrives and notices he doesn't like how close they're getting. Julia hands Luca an astronomy book. Alberto quietly burns with jealousy. He drags Luca away, shows him a beat-up Vespa frame, shows him drawings of the world they planned together. But Luca's mind is somewhere else now. He whispers, maybe we could go to school, both of us. Alberto snaps, sea monsters don't go to school. One splash of water, and we're finished. Right then, Ercole appears again to taunt them. The boys run, soaked, exhausted, and fall asleep at the treehouse by morning. Days pass. Training, laughter, tension rising. Then one morning, Luca's mom finally spots him. He panics. He can't let her catch him and keeps riding downhill even though he's terrified. Julia coaches him gently, but Alberto hates seeing them bond. So he pulls Luca away and forces a dangerous, reckless bike run. They crash hard into the water. They climb out, dripping, angry, and finally the fight comes. Luca snaps at Alberto, and when Julia arrives, he even asks, "Can I go to school with you?" Julia beams. "Of course, you'd love it there." Luca is thrilled, but Alberto stands frozen. His best friend is slipping away. In frustration, Alberto jumps straight into the water, revealing his true sea monster form. Julia screams, terrified, and Luca pretends he doesn't know him. That betrayal cuts deeper than anything. Heartbroken, Alberto runs away. Julia takes Luca home, and Massimo asks where Alberto is. Luca lies. He left. I don't know if he'll come back. But Massimo does care. He grabs his gear and heads out to search for the boy, because Alberto wasn't just a guest anymore, he was family. Later, Luca tells Julia they can still win the race, so she throws a cup of water on him. His skin shifts, scales appear. Julia steps back, eyes wide. Luca is a sea monster too. Julia storms back at Luca, furious. She tells him there are millions of places he could have gone, so why come to the one town where everyone wants sea monsters dead? Her voice cracks. She doesn't want him hurt, so she pushes him away. Heartbroken, Luca leaves, and guilt hits him hard. He betrayed Alberto. He hurries to Alberto's hideout, but the place is a mess. Drawings torn, tools everywhere. Alberto glares, furious. Why are you here? Leave. Luca notices marks carved into the wall. Days counted, one after another. He quietly asks what they are. Alberto finally breaks. He tells Luca he started marking days after his dad left, waiting for him to return, but he never did. His voice shakes as he whispers, I thought he'd come back. I thought he'd want me, but he didn't. He turns away. You're good, Luca, and I'm just a dumb, broken kid. We shouldn't have been friends. Luca refuses to accept that. He looks him in the eyes and says, I'm leaving, but I'm winning that race. We'll get a Vespa, and we'll see the world together. I'll come back for you. He jumps into the water and swims away. Race day. The Portoroso Cup begins. Luca signs up, alone. Round 1, swimming. Luca hides his identity beneath a full-body suit and dives in. Julia finishes her lap first, touches the flag, and sprints to pasta. Luca follows close behind. Round 2, pasta eating. Julia devours noodles like a beast, finishes first again. Ercole cheats and pushes ahead. Luca slurps through his plate and jumps on a bike. That's when Luca's mom spots him and nearly tackles him off the road. He pedals faster, racing up the steep hill past Ercole, all the way to the top. Then dark clouds roll in. Rain. One drop would expose him. He freezes, terrified. But then through the mist, Alberto appears with an umbrella. He came anyway. Before Luca can speak, Ercole slams into Alberto, sending him crashing into the water. His skin flashes blue-green, sea monster form revealed. Everyone screams. Ercole throws a net over him. Luca sees his only friend shamed and trapped, and something snaps inside him, and rides straight into the chaos. Scales exposed, no more hiding. He rescues Alberto and speeds downhill. Ercole chases them, swinging a harpoon, determined to win the race and kill them both. Julia sees what's happening. She rams her bike into Ercole. Luca and Alberto skid to a stop. They could escape into the water, but they turn back. Their friend is hurt. They rush to Julia instead, choosing friendship over freedom. Fishermen surround them, weapons raised, but then Massimo steps forward, not afraid. These are Luca and Alberto. They're not monsters, they're the winners. Silence, then cheers. Acceptance. Even Ercole's own followers abandon him and toss him into the fountain. Luca's parents arrive in tears and finally embrace him. The town celebrates. The boys get the prize money. Their dream Vespa becomes real. Humans and sea monsters begin living together for the first time in history, but summer doesn't last forever. Julia remembers she must return to school in Genova. Luca's heart sinks, and that moment breaks Alberto Alberto inside. He finally understands. Real love means letting your friend grow. At the train station, Alberto reveals the truth. He sold the Vespa, and then Luca's parents arrive. They smile. "Luca, you can go with her." Alberto helped arrange everything. Julia waits on board. The train bell rings. Luca hugs his parents. Then Alberto. He asks him to come too, but Alberto shakes his head gently. "Massimo needs me. This is my home now." Luca's eyes fill with tears. Alberto hands him a drawing. The Vespa, a symbol of their dream. "I'll always be with you," he says. They hug one last time. Luca steps onto the train, headed toward a new world. School, stars, possibilities. As it pulls away, he watches his best friend disappear in the distance, but smiling. Because some friendships don't end, they grow. If you loved this recap, please like, share, and subscribe.